Hello and welcome coders to the Sky Coding. So in today's session we will discuss about unloading data to the internal stage from Snowflake tables. Okay. And in the previous video we have covered unloading data from the Snowflake tables to the external cloud storage. Okay. We have basically used the AWS S3 for unloading the Snowflake tables data to the stages. Okay, and we have successfully done the unloading to the external stage in the previous session. If you haven't watched my previous session of unloading data to the external stage, you can watch my previous session. The link will be given in the description box. Okay, so in today's video we will unload the data from the Snowflake table to the internal stage, because sometimes there is a business requirement to see these tables data into our CSV or PSV file. Okay, so for that unloading is very important. Okay, so we will do the unloading from this Snowflake tables by using the internal stage. And suppose that you are you are unloading the data to the internal stage, then there is basically a two step. First of all, you have to unload the table data into the stage, and after from the stage you have to just download that file data which you have taken from the table into your local machine by using that get command. Okay, so we will discuss here about the get command and about the unloading and how to download from the internal stage as well. Okay, so we will discuss those things. Okay, so first of all, let me show you the table, which table I want to unload in this session. Okay, we can use any table, but we will use just customer underscore PSV. It is just having 10,000 rows, and here in the customer multiple it is having just 300 rows, and this is having 100 rows. So that's why we are just taking this customer underscore PSV table to unload the data into our internal stage. Okay, so we will discuss those things. Okay, so first of all, for unloading or loading, you have to just, as in the previous video we have discussed, that unloading is just the reverse process of the loading. Okay, so it is basically the same as loading, only data loading. And we have covered all about the data loading from internal stage and as well as from the external stage. And for the external we have used AWS S3 bucket. Okay, if you haven't watched my those sessions, then link will be given in the description. You can watch my those sessions of data loading. Okay, from internal and external stages. Okay, so first of all we have to create just a file format. Okay, for just unloading this table data to the external internal stage. Okay, here we are just unloading the data to the internal stage. Okay, and suppose that you want to load the data. For loading also you have to create a file format. Okay, so this is basically the syntax of the file format. Name is this and type is CSV, and field delimiter I have given this pipe symbol because I am dealing with this PSV file. It is having a pipe separated values, and skip header equals to 1, and let me change this to 0 because I want my column names also in our file which we will load. But in the loading, when we are loading the data from our internal stage to the table, then we are just skipping the header because in our file we have column names. But here we are just doing a reverse process, unloading from the Snowflake tables to the internal stage. Then we must we must see the heading of these column names and all. Then we can understand that this is a first name column, this is second name column, like that. Okay, so we will just do this and empty field as null. Okay, so first of all let me create the file format. So you can see my file format unload ff is now successfully created. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to just create a stage first, and after that we will load this table data into the stage, and after that we will load that file into our local machine. Okay, so for creating a stage, syntax is basically as very simple. Create a stage. For creating a stage, create or replace stage, and let me give the stage name is int stage. Okay, because it is an internal stage, so that's why we are giving. And for the file format, you can give file format equals to file format name. Okay, and instead of creating this file format separately, you can simply specify the file format properties here as well in the stage. Okay, and here we are just creating the named stage. You can load the data or unload the data by using the named stage or the user stage. okay, the by the table stage or the user stage. These user and table are predefined. Whenever you will create your Snowflake account, user stage will be automatically created, and whenever you will create any table, then by that name only that table stage will be there for you to work. Okay, as we have discussed in detail about this in the data loading from the internal stage video, where we have discussed about this user stage, table stage, and named stage. And as user stage and table user stage is allowing us to unload or load multiple files into the multiple tables, okay, but table stage is just allowing to load the data into single table, but it is not allowing to the multiple table. Okay, we have discussed all those things in the stages video, internal stages. Okay, you can watch those sessions. The link will be in the description box only. Okay, so first of all, let me create a named stage. Okay, so you can see my stage is now successfully created, and now what we will do, we will just use the copy command. Okay, so just we are copying files. Okay, so copying files into internal stage by copy command. Okay, let me write the comment as well. Okay, so for copy we have to just use copy into, and for loading, data loading, we are just giving here table name, but here we are just doing the reverse process of unloading, so we will just give here name of internal stage. So the internal stage name is copy into, and we have to use this @ symbol for named stage, and for the table stage you have to give @%, and for the user stage you have to give @ and a dash. Okay, so this is basically the syntax. Okay, copy into and from, and after that you have to give the table name. Suppose that I want to unload the data of this customer underscore PSV table. Okay, so first of all you have to give the database name dot schema name. Okay, it is a best practice. Okay, but here I'm not giving because I have already selected here database sky and schema is also sky, so that's why we are not giving here from this table. Okay, this is basically the syntax for unloading. Okay, as we have discussed in our previous video also, for unloading to the external stage. Okay, and copy into stage name, and from which table, from this table I want. Okay, and as I have also discussed with you some of the points, some of the properties. Okay, let me show you that properties as well. Overwrite, maximum file size, and all these. Okay, these things, these are the things which I have discussed in our previous video. Okay, in unloading data to the external cloud storage locations, we have used this overwrite, true or false. If there is any file, then that file will be replaced. It will just replace the existing files, and single equals to true, it will just generate a single file. And maximum file size you can give include query id, detailed output. Okay, these are the options which I have discussed in depth in the previous session. You can watch my that session. Okay, so we will just use those properties as well of the copy command unloading, then you will better understand those things as well. Okay, and let me type here single equals to true because I want a single file, and just this thing. Okay, so after that you have to just execute this. Okay, so let me execute this, and it will show how many rows are unloaded. Okay, so you can see rows unloaded 10,000, and these are some of the input bytes and the output bytes. So you can see here this is customer PSV table, it is having 10,000 rows, and it has successfully unloaded 10,000 rows. Okay, and unloading is not means that suppose that you have unloaded the data from this table, so this doesn't mean that this table will be vacant. This unloading is not removing the data from the table, it is just taking the data, taking the copy of the data from the table, and just pasting it to the internal or external stage, whatever you are performing, whatever action you are performing. Okay, so this is basically taking a copy. Okay, this doesn't mean guys please don't confuse in these things. Okay, if it unloading means it will not remove the data from the table. Okay, so this is basically the copy command syntax, and you can see here in the console that we have successfully unloaded 10,000 rows. Okay, so now my now my these 10,000 rows are available into our internal stage. Okay, so let me list the stage. Okay, list a stage. For listing a stage we just use list @ and the stage name is int stage. Okay, so we will just copy the name here, and let me remove this space as well, and after that let me execute this, then let me show you that how many files we have. Okay, So now you can see here we have one file with the name data. Okay, data. And let me show you that. Suppose that I want to give a name. So I haven't specified any name here of this table, of this table data. We are just unloading this table data into our PSV file. Okay, so we haven't given any name, so that's why it has taken this data underscore 000 like that. Okay, so suppose that I want to specify any name for our unloading file. Okay, so you can specify that name as well by here. Okay, you can just give here forward slash and you can give here a customer. Okay, a customer and this forward slash. Okay, so now it will just unload that file into this customer. Okay, so let me execute this once, and you can see rows unloaded 10,000, and let me list the stage as well. Okay, so you can see we have this customer data. Okay, so basically what it is doing, it is just creating one folder customer in our internal stage, and it is just loading the data, this data into our this into our this folder customer, so that by this way copy into internal stage and customer. By this way you can create any folder as well. Okay, so this is the way by which you can specify the folder name. Suppose that you want to do multiple unloading. Okay, and then every file will be of same name, data, then how you will recognize those files. Okay, so by that by this way, by giving this forward slash, you can just specify this folder name as well. Suppose that this is my customer file, so that's why I am giving forward slash and customer. Okay, so this file will be stored in this customer folder. Okay, in the stage. Okay, internal stage. Okay, and you can use one more property here, overwrite as well. Let me show you about the overwrite property as well. Overwrite equals to true, and after that let me give that property as well, detailed equals to true. Okay, detailed output, sorry guys, detailed output. Okay, so it will just show you the detailed output. Okay, so what you are doing, we are just creating a single file, we are just overwriting. So you can see that we have already this file in our customer folder. In the internal stage we have this data file, but whenever we are using this overwrite equals to true, then it will just overwrite this file with the new file. Okay, and detailed output, it will show the output as well. Let me execute this one, and you can see file name is data, file size and all these things it will show. A row count, you can see 10,000 rows are successfully unloaded. Okay, so let me list this, and you will see here 2 rows only. Okay, this is the file which I have replaced by using this overwrite equals to true, and this is the earlier file. Okay, so what we will do, we will just do the unloading as well. Okay, so by this way you can just list the files from the stage. This is the basic command, you must be knowing about this thing. Okay, so now what we will do, now my file is now successfully unloaded to the internal stage. So now my one step is now completed. Now we are left with the second step. The second step to download that file from the internal stage to our local machine. How to do that? For that let me type the comment here first, downloading file from internal stage to local machine by using get command. Okay, so you have to use here get command. Earlier we are using put command in our SQL command line interface to upload the file from the local machine into the internal stage, but for downloading the file we have to just use get command. Okay, get command to just download that file from the internal stage to our local machine. Okay, so we will just use this get command. Okay, so let me type here as well, so that you can understand. Okay, so basically the syntax of using the get command is, let me type here get for using this get command, you have to just configure your SQL command line interface with the Snowflake as well. Okay, if you haven't done that configuration of this Snowflake with the command line interface, that how to run this, how to run your queries from this command prompt of the Snowflake, then I have created the session on that configuration also. You can watch my that session, the link will be given in that description, that how to configure your SnowSQL and how to download the SnowSQL and configure with the Snowflake. Okay, so you can watch my that session video, and you will better understand that how to do the configuration. Okay, So I have already done the configuration, and you can see I have just used the database and warehouse and schema. This is Sky Training is my warehouse, and Sky is database, and Sky is schema. Okay, you can see here Sky Training warehouse, database, and schema. Okay, so now we will use this get command, as get command is not working. Get and put command is not working in your UI, web UI of the Snowflake. You for this using get command and put, you have to just configure your SnowSQL. Okay, so if you don't know how to configure, I have told you to watch my that session video. Okay, I have to discussed all those things, and I have done all those things configuration in practical. Okay, so for using the get command, you have to simply type here get, and after that get you have to just type your stage name. Okay, so my stage name is @int stage. Okay, so what we will do, we will just give @ and after that in stage name, internal stage name, and after that suppose that this is my internal stage. Okay, and here we have this customer folder. So suppose that you want to move to the customer folder, so you can use this / for moving forward. And after that I want this data file, so you can give here data file, and after that you have to just give your path. Okay, and suppose that you want to download this file, so you can simply give here in @int stage, and you can give here simply data. Okay, so this data file will be just downloaded from this internal stage. Okay, so we want to download this file in the customer folder. We have this data file, so that's why we are giving the path like that. Okay, and suppose that you have another folder in this customer folder, subfolder, so you can specify the names here, and you can move forward by giving this forward slashes. Okay, so suppose that now what is this is basically the command get is suppose that you are getting the file from this stage. Okay, so after that you have to type this stage name and file name, and after that you have to just write this file colon and 2 forward slashes, and after that you have to simply copy the path of that where you want to download this file. Okay, so I want to download in our local machine. You can see this is my this PC videos folder and Sky files, and I have already created this new folder unloading. Okay, so we will just move to this folder, and we will just copy this path here. Okay, and now you will see here one file. Okay, this is my unloading folder, and I don't have any file here. Okay, this folder is empty. Okay, so we will just copy this path because I want to download this file here in this path. Okay, so after pasting your path here, you have to just give the semicolon. Okay, so basically this is the syntax for downloading your file from the internal stage. Get @ and stage name, and after that if there are so folders and subfolders, so you can give like that, and after that you have to give your path, that on which path you want to download your file. Okay, so after copying and pasting the path, and you have to just give the semicolon, and after semicolon you have to just do the enter. Okay, and now it will just download the file. Okay, you will see the status here as well. Okay, after that you have to execute this command, and let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so you can see this is my data file, and the size is 436299, and you can see the status is now downloaded. Okay, and it has just taken 7.676 seconds. Okay, the status is now downloaded. Okay, so now let me move to the local machine, and let me show you. Okay, so you can see we got this data file here successfully unloaded to our this unloading folder. You can see here this is unloading folder, and I am having this file data which I have successfully unloaded. Okay, so what we will do, by this way you can just unload any table data to your local machine. First of all you have to unload that to your internal stage, and after doing to the internal stage you have to just use the get command into your command prompt SnowSQL, and after using the get command and by this syntax you can successfully unload your file into your local machine. Now I have got this data file into our local machine. Okay, so let me copy this as well and paste in the web UI, so that we can just summarize it. So this is the way we are just using the get command and downloading the file. Okay, and suppose that you have any table stage. Okay, so for table stage is also same. Okay, let me type that as well, downloading file from table stage. So I have told you for table stage we use this @ sign. Okay, so for table stage, suppose that get @file this, and this is my folder. Okay, suppose that you want to list you want to download the any file from the table stage. You have to just give here %, and suppose that my table name is customer_PSV. So as the table stage is by default created when you create a table. Okay, so my table name is customer PSV, so my stage name will also be customer_PSV. Okay, so I am just downloading the same file from this stage customer_PSV. Okay, so by this way you can just unload the data file from the table stage as well. This is basically the syntax for unloading from the table stage. Okay, and suppose that you want to unload the data from the user stage. So for user stage is as well downloading file from a user stage. Okay, user stage, for user stage we are just giving @ and this symbol. Okay, this symbol. Okay, so for unloading you have to just give here @ and this, and suppose that this is a user stage, so you can give user_stage your stage name. Okay, so this is user stage and customer data file, and rest all the things will be same. Okay, so these are the basically the syntax for downloading the file from your table stage. Okay, this is my table stage and this is my user stage I have, and this is my named stage. Okay, let me type here named stage, and for named stage we use simply @. Okay, so we have successfully unloaded the data data of the table. This is customer_PSV into the stage, and after the stage we have downloaded that also by using the get command. I have told you for the syntax of this @%. This is for table stage, because table stage is now my by default, and this is for a user stage. Okay, so by this way you can just download any file from the internal stages, named stage, table stage, or the user stage. Okay, so let me list this thing as well, table stage, and let me see if it is having any data or not. Okay, list @ customer, and let me do this. Okay, it is taking upper command as well, because we have used this forward slashes, so it is taking it as a comment. Okay, so you can see it is not having any data, customer_PSV. This is my stage. Okay, so you can just unload by this way as well. Okay, this is basically the customer stage. Okay, this is basically the customer_PSV file, and it is a table stage, as I told you in the previous sessions as well, that the table stage and user stage are by default when you create a Snowflake account and table respectively. Okay, so these are the things for unloading the data from the internal stages and to the local machine by using the get command. Okay, and I have told you this thing as well, downloading file from the table stage and the user stage and named stage. You can do practice of these things, then you will better understand these things. Okay, and you can see here this file is just showing like that, because I don't have any type of software for opening this file, as I am using some different laptops. So this will be open in VS Code or like that. Okay, VS Code or in any of the apps. Okay, so because I have VS Code, but I am having some restriction in my laptop. Okay, so that's why it is showing like that. Okay, I can't tell you that in our video, because I have some restriction on my laptop. Okay, so that's all for today's session for unloading the data to the internal stage from the Snowflake tables, and using the get command to download the file from the internal stage. Okay, so that's all about the unloading from internal as well as external stages. We have covered all those things of unloading, and in the next session we will discuss about the data sharing. How can you share the data from your in one Snowflake account to the other Snowflake account, and suppose that I am a Snowflake user and you don't have a Snowflake account, then how can you view my data? So we will just discuss that, how to create a reader account and manage and all those things in the upcoming video. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Meet you soon in the next very interesting tutorial. Bye, take care of yourself, guys.